Alrighty, welcome back again to Can I Talk for a Second, episode 9. We had a couple of technical difficulties there.
I wonder if it's like CBS in them, if they feel like that when they have like a technical difficulty and the glitch goes on the TV. It's like, we'll
Right?
be right
Like,
back, or stay
like
tuned.
yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, cool. So yeah, we will, I'm going to say, get Ava...
We'll get her microphone. We'll get her microphone together eventually. It's the same brand. It just doesn't. It's way too sensitive for this. Like, and the room is small. It's not a big. Like, this isn't a big room, but it is so insanely sensitive.
That's what I think, because like even when we talk, it's like coming off on her mic. So.
Yeah, like hard on her mic. Yeah.
Like it's like we're sitting in front of her microphone.
Yeah, well, but originally that's what it was doing. It was catching it. See, now look, like our things are way more.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. I feel like maybe something in the settings we actually like a YouTube video. That's what YouTube is for.
I spent a lot of time doing this today, more time than I really wanted to spend doing this, and
Well, when me and Ava walked in, you said you and Sheep would sleep.
I slept most of the day, but then when I woke up again, I like sat here and did this, and it was fucking annoying the shit out of me. So I was like, all right. I was like, we're gonna step away from this because it's filling me with rage, and we're gonna try again later. And then as soon as I saw her feedback, like it was popping up like on that,
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way that this is gonna sound good when we when I go to edit it. It's gonna, and it did. It sounded like robots.
Yeah.
It sounded like that thing that you were like, what is that?
Yo, cause I'm like, you don't hear that? Like
I hear it all day long, so I don't pay any
so
mind
you just
to it.
tune it out?
Yeah, I do tune it out. I don't hear anything.
Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was an interesting beginning. So that was a little bit of a late start, but it is what it is. So
Yeah.
it's a short week. We got Thanksgiving coming up. So, and this is episode 9. We got episode 10, and then we're taking a little Christmas breaky break.
Oh yes. So, I would like if you guys let us know more things that you want to talk about, because I've heard there is some feedback.
There is some feedback, so I man the. Stay still, bro. Like, you've done enough today. There was some suggestions in the suggestion box that we do talk about a lot. Like, we're kind of all over the map. We're a little ADD with it, which is fun. But I think we don't get down to, like, the nitty gritty of, like, we talk about it happened, but, like, what was our mindset in that moment, and like when we were going through it versus like how we our like 30-something-year-old selves would have dealt with it versus how like our 19 or 22-year-old, or when you came back I was 25. So like those mindsets of like, because like obviously we got through it and we could be here, but what did that entail like way back when?
Oh, that was like, I mean, the best way I guess I can describe it was like an emotional roller coaster. I mean, we had our like highs. Like there were times where we were like good, but we weren't like good like this.
No, we weren't.
Like,
I don't think. Yeah, I wouldn't call it good.
From each other. Like,
I wouldn't call it. I'd call it like a ceasefire or like tolerating one another. Like there was no it wasn't like we weren't able to be amicable. It was literally just like, I'll be there at 7. Okay, great. Like there was none of like that.
Yeah, it was more like because I have to deal with this person in my life now.
Yeah, like there's no choice but to do it. And when you weren't here, like I was dealing with your mom. So I think like we went all the way back to high school already, and that was one of I think the most watched episode that we had, the high school episode.
No.
So everyone knows what happened in high school. They know like what that was like and the trouble we got in. But then like obviously we know that you went to the military and it was just me and her for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we could probably start the timeline back at when you decided to join the military and how against it I was. Like I, from the get-go, said that this is a bad fucking idea.
Well, yeah. I mean, number one, I think, well, you were more, and I know a big thing about it was because I would miss a lot of her growing up. For
all the little firsts.
Was. Yeah, so it was
4 years. She was 18 months when you went in, so she would have been. Gosh. She was a year and a half. She would have been. You were in Texas, an additional year after your contract ended? So
yeah, so I was there for like 6 years.
Yeah, so you were gone for a while, and not only like would you miss everything for her, but then I'm parenting as like a young adult, like in my early 20s, alone.
Well, yeah.
Like alone, like most of the like the responsibility and like all of the burden lands on me. Like I don't have anybody to share it with, like cost wise, time wise, like decision making wise, somebody to be like, what do you think about this, or this is what the doctor said or the teacher said. I had nobody to do that with. Well, but that's the perfect point. It became like a resentment over time because I was like, this is gonna be a bad idea. I'm never gonna be able. It's not the same as you being here, and you kept saying, "No, it'll be fine. I'll be just as involved. Call me." And then over time, like he stopped answering the phone, or it took like 18 calls to get through to him, and that's where the resentment started to come from. Because now, like, it's not like I was an adult and I had other kids and like I was established, and I, as an adult, was like fully like functional. I was experiencing life for the first time too. So I didn't have anybody to be like, this happened and I need help, or like this is happening and I need to go take this class out on Friday at 6 o'clock. I need you to watch her. There was none of that. So yeah, to Ava's point, like it got to a point where like, well, it was like I resent the shit out of you because now you get to be in Texas living your fucking life and doing what you want to do and out partying and being tagged and no, not to the. I had to find a babysitter for you. I had
a grandma and other grandma.
Right, but I had to do that. He didn't have to do any of that. I had to coordinate
that. She said she had to coordinate.
I had to coordinate that. Dad could just. Right, but that's I had to figure that out. He didn't have to figure anything. He just got a phone call and said, "Hey man, come out." He's like, "Yeah, all right, I'm leaving now." I'm like, "Oh, all right. Let me see which grandma can watch her. Let me see who's available. Let me see if that even works for any. Is anybody around?" And nobody gave a shit that he was going out. But for me, it was well, you gave all that up when you became a mom, which is a totally other. No, which is a totally other subject that I don't agree with, because you don't give up everything that you are as a person, or that you don't get to have a life because you had kids.
When you have a baby, yes.
No, you don't. If you get a babysitter, you can 100% live your life. Like, I'm not taking you to the bar with me in the car seat where I'm like, hold this, baby. Like, I fully get to like hold this. Let me watch my drink while I go to the bathroom, baby.
Hold my Long Island iced tea.
Hold this for me. Like, but if I find a babysitter and I'm not leaving you with like the crackhead on the subway, there should be no issue with me being able to go out and live my life. But that's where a lot of the resentment came from. You could live your life and do what you wanted to do, and for me, it was running a marathon to get out of the house.
I mean, I always feel like well, from a lot of people's perspective, and from what you went through, that is, majority of what it is. That, of course, yeah. That I don't have to blink twice before going.
No, there's no choice to be made. If you want to go spend money on a weekend, you can do that.
Right, 100%. And that's why I feel like, I also feel like, just because of where we left off emotionally with it was very hostile.
Yeah.
So
because I didn't agree with the decision.
I've seen some people, and I don't know if they worked their way to that as well, where it was like they were like having some of my friends that were the fathers would pick up, let's say, those responsibilities midweek.
Yeah, well, it was none of that because you were 1,000 miles away.
Well, no, 100%. But I'm just saying, like even when I came back, I had a friend, Kevin, where his baby mom had the son from, let's say, Sunday to Wednesday. And then Thursday through Saturday, the kid was with him. But he would still take
But that's a 50-50. So it's like it's 3 on or 4 and 3. It rotates. It's 4 and 4, so it rotates around. And but there was obstacle. Well, when you were in Texas, obviously we can't do that. But when you were back in New York, you were not at all worse. You couldn't even keep your fucking AutoZone job. Yeah. I'm like, there is no way on earth he's getting this kid from Flatbush to Bensonhurst to school on time. There's no fucking way.
Nobody would have wanted that job. That job was the worst.
Worse or not?
I would far recommend anybody, and please, AutoZone, if you ever see this video, do not
They're gonna
hate
sue
me.
us.
Like, I literally would not tell anybody to work for AutoZone. Like, I'm sorry, no, not at all. $9 an hour.
Well, that was also that was way back when also, but though all of those things, it was like, because I was working at the fucking clothing store making the same amount of money an hour.
And I feel like that, I feel like also too is like a lot to do with like mentality and stuff like that. Like when I got back from Texas, it was like it was like really like a crazy time. Like I was used to like partying all the time.
Doing
Like,
whatever
that
you
one
wanted,
year,
when you
like, was
wanted.
like
Yeah, it was a
party.
free for all.
And then I had a friend pull me to the side, and then he had like a real conversation with me and was like, "Bro, you got your daughter in New York. What are you doing out here, bro? Like, he's like, yeah, I get, like, you know, you're living life and whatever." And he's like, but like, he's like, most of this, and it's so funny because he was like, most of the stories you've ever told me, he's like, you're always smiling about when you're in New York. He's like, so like, and then the funniest thing was he gave me an ultimatum. Was like, he was like, come January 1st, if you're still here in Texas and not with your daughter and everybody else, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. And it was the funniest thing because it was the most realist thing that anyone has ever said. Because like, think about it. If you're with a group of people that are doing the same thing you're doing,
No one's gonna call you out on it. They're gonna enable your.
no,
They're
like,
enabling your
yeah, like,
behavior.
they're having fun. You're having
Yeah.
fun. Why give you any kind of like?
Ultimately, it's gonna fuck up
I-
like the party scene. Like we're all doing the same shit. It's not a big
Yeah.
deal.
But to me, it was just so real that you came out to me like you thought about my kid, you thought about my life, you thought about
You know
what
what I
was
had in New
doing.
York. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, so it was like, and you were like, yo, dude, like go fix it.
Go figure it out, bro.
Yeah,
Be
go
there
get
for
your
your
shit
kid because at that
together,
point she
bro.
was 6.
You know what
She
I'm
was
saying?
6 when you returned to New York, and at
Yeah.
that point we had a routine down pat.
Yeah.
And I had gone back to school, and I was like, I know I want my 4-year degree. Like we'll just figure it out. So like that at that point I had just not become numb to it, but I kind of just written you off. Like it was
Yeah.
just like, this is what it is. Like you know, if he comes back, he comes back. I didn't even know you were coming back. Like I found out on Facebook that you were back.
I think everybody did.
Yeah, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm the mother of your child, and this is how I find out that you're back in New York City. Are you kidding me? And it was like, and then it like made me even more angry because I'm like, you've been back however many days, and you haven't even like hit me up to see her.
I feel like he would have, and you wouldn't have answered the phone.
No, I would have answered the phone because at that point it was far and few in between. I was hearing from him anyway, and I was always like, call me back. Like, and yeah, I think going a little bit further back. You were still in the army, but she had the Kawasaki's disease, and she was in the hospital for a week. She was in the hospital
Yeah.
for 5 days, and like she was like, oh, she looked like a little Michelin man. Like she was really sick, and everything was puffy. Like remember, you had to go for the echocardiogram to put the stickers on your chest. You were like literally, I don't know if you remember it. No, because for a while you did remember it. You would reference it. So she had to have an echocardiogram and a sonogram of her heart, and that made me. I think that for me was the turning point because I'm like,
Remember
you're.
the gel they used to
Yeah,
put on
they
my-
checked your heart because the lining of her heart was inflamed during that. So
It was like the two little
and
things.
yep, and they had to check, and then she had to go back. I think when she right after Hurricane Sandy, you had to go back for a final checkup, and they're like, she's fine. And then obviously every year they listen, and she's
Yeah.
okay. But that to me because I couldn't find you. And I was like, I have to call like your command. I have to let them know that this kid's in the hospital, and they let me know that no problem. We let him know he has however many days to come home, and you didn't come home. And I was like, okay. I was like, this is what it is. Like, this is the reality of it is she only has me.
Right.
Like, that's how I felt. I'm like, you could have flown home, and your mom at that point said, I would have bought him a ticket home. Like, your mom's like, I would have flown him right home so he could be here and, be here to be with Ava. And I'm like, you didn't even, like, take up on that opportunity, and then you didn't call or check like on her, and your mom was sending you updates, and your mom was at the hospital with me like a couple times because she was working I think still like the different places. So before she went in, she'd come in, and after work she'd come in, and I didn't leave the hospital not one time because that was right before Thanksgiving, and my mom wasn't working yet. But my mom would come and she'd be like, go home and take a shower, and I'll stay here with Ava. And I was like, no, I'm not leaving. And my mom's like, she's okay, they told you that she's stable, Daddy will take you home, because I don't know if I was driving yet. I don't think I was. You were 2. So I had just gotten my license. But my dad would take my mom, and they were like, go home and shower, like change your clothes, get whatever, and then come back. And I was like, I'm not leaving the hospital. I'm like, I'm staying the entire time. I'm like, so you can bring me clothes, and you can, I showered in the children's shower, which was like, the shower was for kids. So it was like up to here on me in the shower. It was like, we were on the children's unit, obviously. So the shower was like up to here. I had to like squat to like wash my hair and like shower. I felt like a hobbit. And I was like, this is fucking miserable. And my mom bought me the hot shot, and she bought me like the cup of soups. And all Ava would eat was cup of soups and fucking Funyuns. That's
Oh my
all.
gosh.
You go home.
I wouldn't go home because you were 2. You were 2.5 years old. You were in the hospital. I don't care. You were admitted to the hospital. I wasn't leaving. And that instance for me was like when I was like, I'm fighting like a losing battle. I'm fighting a ghost basically. There's like the level of care is not there. So I was angry at you for not choosing her. I was angry at you for leaving me to navigate this myself. And I was like, I have two choices. I can sit here and be mad about it and just like wallow in it and be miserable, or I can just like beat all the odds and do what I have to do.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going back to school. That's when I took, right after that is when I signed up for the tax class. I took the tax class right after that. If you got me sick.
There's no way anybody's getting sick from me. I'm on the tail end of this. All right, I'm on the tail end of this.
But I went to the tax class. I took the tax class and I started at H&R Block that following tax season or that January. And then I was like, all right, I'm going back to Kingsborough. I went back to Kingsborough and I got the associates. And I was like, I'm going to do this like in spite of you, really. I'm like, because I don't know if you'll ever come back or if you'll ever be back. I'm like, but you're going to come back and what are you going to have? Like a fucking, I'm like, well, you going to have your fucking stupid Velcro army patches? I'm like, like, good for you.
Oh, you trying to smoke my patches?
I was because they wouldn't even be on straight sometimes. And I'm like, this is the life you want to live. You live it. I'm going to live. Well, so there's another piece. So I was very mad at him, and I was like, I was like, fuck it, then we'll just cut him off. Like, we won't. I deleted him on Facebook. I deleted him on everything.
So how did you find out he was back on Facebook?
Because at one point we were like amicable, and I added him back. So, so I was mad, and I was like, but I don't want that to interfere with. I don't ever want you to grow up and say my dad wasn't around because you wouldn't let him be around. So I was like, I'm gonna give you the rope, and I'm gonna let you hang yourself, and she'll eventually see it. Like she'll eventually figure it out. So I'm like, you can call her anytime you want. And then you had your very first the iPod Touch, your very very first one, like the one like the blue messages that would pop up.
Yes.
I upgraded it and I gave it to you to play with, and I got you like that big boxy one, but it was. And you had just learned to like read or like identify letters, and you had like ABC Mouse on it, but it had FaceTime. So if he wanted to FaceTime you, he could, and he didn't need to use my phone. Like he could FaceTime your iCloud account, and that was it. Like that, it didn't need to go through me. So I had that, and I'm like, I'm gonna let him do it, and obviously he never did. And I was like, I was pissed, and I'm like, there's so many things that he's missing.
You better not get me sick.
No, you with your fucking. There's so many things he's missing, because then at this point now she's in pre-K and she's learning to write her name, and she's like becoming her own little person, and she's like doing good in school. And then she started kindergarten. And were you back for yes, you were back. No, you came back slightly after kindergarten began. The first day of first grade though, I had asked you, do you want to come to her first day, like meet us at my house at this time? And she was all excited, and I'm like, this motherfucker's not going to get up in time. I know he's not. Like, I know he's not. And I called your mom, and she's like, no, he's still sleeping. And I'm like, all right, well, fuck it then. We're going to school. And I'm like, those things, like, made me... And I'm just like, because for me, it was like, how...
I think I remember that.
Because
You walked me.
We walked the first day, because it was always such bad traffic.
Wait, that was at the...
101.
Yeah.
Yep, so I was like, those things made me so angry, because I'm like, how come... I choose her each and every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get up,
Mother.
Right, but he's a father, so what does that mean? He gets to choose less? Like, he gets,
You
like...
don't know what a mother role exists of?
I feel
Yeah, but that's very, like, gender... Like, that's kind of, like, sexist and, like, really outdated to think that a mom picks up more of the burden.
No, but I feel like...
That's exactly what you insinuated.
But more or less, like, I feel like... I'm not making any excuses. But, of course, like all those stuff like that... First of all, going back to just being young and ignorant was like those things, like just like, of course, like you choosing her every day and doing what you have to do as a mom is because we're her all the time. Like, and it's even like the same thing. Like I kind of like even like go through like sometimes with Amanda. It's like I want to be part of those things with Kai, because I was never like me myself as a person. Like I didn't get up to be that level with her, you know. And that's why like now, like with the graduation, when she's like, oh, you're not gonna be on time. It's like, I'm gonna be
because
on time.
she remembers.
I'm gonna be
she
there.
remembers, like,
and you know,
and I'd hold my tongue, and I'm like, no, he'll be here, don't worry. And she's like, no, he's not. He never comes on time.
Hey, I didn't cry. Don't leave me out to be.
So-
No, when you were little, and we would invite him to something, whether it be your birthday or graduation or a party, we'd be like, Dad's gonna come, and you're like, no, he's not, and we're like, no, he's gonna show. Like, he's late all the time. He's not gonna be here.
So it's like I always feel like because like you're the one doing those things, I feel like as long as I guess you get complacent and you get into a zone where it's like, well, because mom is there, Ava will be fine with that because she spends so much time with you, and she only sees me.
Twice a month.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And it's also
So-
think if the roles reversed, if you were in Texas and he was here.
Yeah,
Same
but
thing.
from mentally for me, if it was reversed, if circumstance would have made it so I had no choice and I had to go to Texas, that's fine, and that it is what it is. Just like when I had to go to Queens, I was still like there every weekend, and I would be there. And when there was breaks, I'd take you with me. Like obviously Texas, that's not really possible, but I was still like I made sure when I moved to Queens because that's where I was working, and because the idea of sending you to school in Queens was for whatever reason like just a fucking cardinal sin. But I digress. But I made sure like that's when I got her the phone, and you're like, she doesn't need a phone, and I'm like, she does, because then she can text me, she can call me, like she can, we can FaceTime, whatever. It gives her a connection to me. So I was already thinking ahead of like, this isn't ideal, and I don't really love this, but she wants to stay in this school, and I have the means to make it happen, so I'll let it happen. So for me, I'm like, my brain is wired to make it work where to the extent that I can make it work where what she wants is like, she wanted to finish 101. She went there all her years of school. Fine, cool. And then COVID happened, so middle school didn't really matter until 7th grade. But
Yeah.
I was like, for me, I was like, how come he can't do that? And to your point, it was like, well, you already have it. You got it. And it's like, but you're not seeing I want you to be part of it too. So it's like, why is she not as important to you as she is to me?
Well, of course she's important.
Well, but no,
Yeah.
but back then, like,
No,
when you were first back,
Oh, well,
like for me, it was like infuriating because like now you're here and you're still not choosing her.
well, I'm not gonna lie, because I don't think I was like in like the best even when I got back. So like,
No, you definitely weren't.
so like when I got back, even my mom was like, "Yo, listen, you got like 30 days. Get your shit together. Like, whatever you gotta do, get your shit together. But after 30 days, that's it. You gotta be A1." And I think that was like part of the number one reason why I didn't even let anybody know like hardcore I was back. I think where I messed up was I made a post.
Yep.
That I was back.
I saw the dining room table and I was like, this motherfucker.
And I was like, and I totally forgot because even people in Texas that didn't know that I left.
They're like,
were
where
like,
are you?
Yo, bro, you in New York? And I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, how do you? Yeah, sure. That's exactly. Where I'm
But
at.
for me, it was like, all right, of all people that you should let know you're returning is the mother of your child. So it was like, she's gonna want to see you, like she hasn't seen you, and that is the reason why, because I didn't trust you to make the trip up here to see her once a year.
Mhm.
So I was like, I want to see you? No, like I didn't really want to go there, and I didn't like I was mad at you, but I'm like, my anger towards you personally is separate from my anger at you because of how I feel like you're treating her. So I'm like, I'm still gonna go down there, and I'm still gonna give you the chance to see her and spend the time with her. And like, I mean, she obviously remembers to some degree those trips down there.
Wow.
It was, I went down there 11, 12, and 13, and then 14 we were on such bad terms. I was like, I'm not coming.
I remember that.
I'm not going. That's it. I'm not going. I was like, no, I'm not, because I like a whole bunch of other things that transpired between us personally, and I was just like,
remember 13 the most.
because you were older, you were 4. That trip for me was like, I'm probably not ever gonna do this again, but like at least I can say I tried, you know. So, back then, like 1 year my mom paid, 1 year your mom paid, and then the last year I think you paid for her and I paid for my ticket. And I was like, but I was working a fucking minimum wage job, so it was a humongous financial burden for me, like huge.
Oh yeah.
Like
Those
I mean,
tickets ain't cheap.
no, they're not. And then we stayed in the hotel on base, and then I had to rent a car. Like all of those, none of those things were cheap. And when you're working minimum wage, that's like 6 months of fucking work. That's like 6 months of shifts to fucking pay for
Yeah.
that. So it's like none of it was ideal. And then to go down there and feel like we were like in the way, or like we'd sit in the hotel half the day, and I'm like, it's fucking 4:00, bro. Like it was just for me baffling how like you could just choose to again and again be irresponsible. That's why when you came back, and I was like,
14 and we didn't go. He came back 15.
after the summer, he came back around Labor Day.
Mhm.
Or shortly after school began. But that's why when he came back, I had already like kind of just, I'm like, if he's there, great. But if not, like, I wouldn't even tell her. If you said, yeah, I'm coming, I wouldn't tell her. So that if you did, it would be a surprise. And if you didn't, she was none the wiser.
Mm-hmm.
Because now she was getting bigger. She was 6. She understood. She'd look forward to you coming. So anytime I would say it and you wouldn't show up, then I have an upset kid who's now sort of blaming me. Like, why did you tell me he's coming and he's not coming? And I'm like, I'm not going to take the fucking fall for this. So if you show up, great. If you don't, I'm like, this has nothing to do with me. I'm not going to fucking take the L on this.
No, of course. So, yeah, I mean, you know, I think also, too, I think learning to be apart. Like, I think, you know, like when you love something or someone, and regardless if it's your child or a significant other, you always got to learn, like, how to love. Because even then, like, no matter what, like, oh, I love her with all my heart. I think it's the process of, I guess, being able to become responsible. Like, someone actually...
Being accountable.
Yeah, like, you know, like, learning that actually is, like, I guess, like, a part of being a father is learning to actually show up and
Be present.
be there and, you know, and also let her know and show it to her that you
are going to be there.
Yeah,
and I feel like
because-
but you had time, or you took time.
Oh, here we go.
But you had the time to do that. For me, I felt like that for me began the day that she was born and they put her in my hands. Like, there was no time I had to figure that out. It was just, I mean, the
I
day.
don't know how you touched sticky little me. I would have been like, go wash it.
Well, they put you on like a blanket on
they
my
do
chest,
that, yeah.
and then they like rub you, kind of shake you down a little bit, and then they go clean you off. But for me, that like mentality began the minute I held her. Where I felt like for you, it took fucking years for you to figure that out and put her first. Because, and I even to this day, I say it to her, and I'm like, you might not understand my methods or my reasoning, but there's things that I don't want to do every day that I get up and do for you. Like, I was like, if it was up to me, and I said this to her, like, I think on Friday, if it was up to me, I wouldn't live out here. I wanted to be back in Brooklyn. I
Yeah.
wanted to move back to Brooklyn. I'm like,
Dusty, busty, ugly Brooklyn.
that's where I grew up. I wanted to be
Yeah.
back there. Like, that's,
I don't.
and it makes sense also because your dad was
Those
closer.
high schools are ratchet.
No, we went to
No,
a decent
we
high
took-
school.
we
Oh, high school.
High
High
school's this big.
high
I can
school-
do everything I want.
Yeah,
High school's high school. Unless we were
Yeah.
sending you to like Grady or
Tilden.
Tilden or one of those, you would have been fine. But I wanted to be back there. But I knew logistically, and the fact that I still wanted help and needed help, especially being the job that I had. I'm like, I'm gonna need the help. I know that she wants to be closer because she wants to be able to see my mom whenever she wants. So I'm like, we're gonna move to Staten Island. Don't love it, but it is what it
Yeah.
is. So I'm like, there's those things. I feel like I've had to make those choices forever. Like,
Yeah.
I've had to make those choices for as long as I've been an adult. You know, like, I lived in my parents' house way longer than I ever planned to because I wanted to make sure she had a decent life. She had opportunities. She was taken care of. She could do things. So it's like, I sacrificed a lot of the things that I personally wanted to do and couldn't do. That's why when people are like, wow, you shouldn't be going out, I'm like, go fly a fucking kite, bro. I've sacrificed so many other things. If I want to go out and get fucking micro wasted on a Saturday, I'm doing that without any remorse. I
Well-
don't give a fuck.
I always feel like maybe there's like this, I don't know, there's a margin of people, fathers, that would say that, like, and once again, I feel like those fathers are like fathers that are like part of a household, like the mother and the father.
Well, it's a
stay
standard
together,
household. Yeah, yeah.
and it becomes that loving.
The unit, the family
Yeah, the
unit. We
unit,
didn't have a
yeah.
unit.
So because even my dad is kind of like the same way. Like my mom, she loves me and my sister to death. My father would be like, listen, I love both of y'all, but if you do something that I don't like, you getting silent treatment. I ain't fucking with you no more. You know what I'm saying? So I feel
It's different with dad. I think it's
so
a
that's why I
tough
always
love
feel
thing
like-
from dad.
Yeah, so I feel like, I feel like with, you know, I guess with me, like I've loved her from the time she was born. I just wasn't like mature enough at the time.
You didn't know how to show up.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, being the person that I was so many years ago, that you know, always, you know, led to those decisions that I made. And that's what I always say too. And it's funny that I always tell people that, I thank, God for you being her mom, because you did pick up a lot of the roles and stuff like that, and the decision, everything basically, while I was gone, and even with the bullshit, So I do tell people that Ava is lucky. I'm lucky that you were.
Look over there and tell her that.
You lucky. I tell her that all the time. I just told her she lucky today because of her grandmama. Her grandmama just bought her a new TV. I was telling my mom.
This is you're just racking out this week, and you got a
No.
TV, you got fucking concert tickets. You're just
Bro,
fucking living your life.
See,
Yeah.
I love the fact that you choose to spend your money on me, but
So-
sometimes it's a constant battle with me.
It is always going to be a battle.
Well,
It is
I
always
always-
there's always going to be a
Yeah,
place.
I go to his house, we have fun, we eat snacks. We
Yeah, well, I
Right.
tell her straight up.
Because
I
you're
give
with
her
him
that
twice a
shit.
month. You're with me every day, minus the day I go to the city.
We can get some snacks and play Fortnite.
See,
We do sometimes. I just don't love playing all the time.
I tell her straight up. Listen, you got $10 to spend. After that, you spending your bread. That's it. We ain't talking.
See, I
no
don't
more.
do that.
There's no
When we go buy
negotiating.
snacks, I'm like, throw it on the counter and we'll buy it.
Oh,
But for me,
hell no.
and
no, see, she'll say that to make you seem like you make.
No,
her spend money,
well,
but
she
there's a
gets-
limit. She's like, one thing,
no, she gets Pringles. We get the Nerds. She got what do
and
you,
then I'll ask her for it the next day. No, my nerds. I'm like, oh.
no, we got Nerds. We got what else did we get the last time we went in there? Because they didn't have the Nerds.
Pringles,
We got Pringles. She got her her flavor of Pringles. I got my flavor of Pringles.
The Targets are always on sale.
Well, I
No, we
give
went
her-
into we go into 7-Eleven too.
Oh, yeah.
But then
So-
also, and I say this to her all the time too, we go to Starbucks every single day. We hit up Starbucks every day. So every day I'm spending $11 on her. So at minimum, that's $55 a week I'm spending on Starbucks. Minimum. Plus the times I go when I'm at work or whatever
You know
else.
why? Because you see, let me tell you something. You fucking up in the game. This is the problem. You need to tell her she need to spend 55 of her dollars.
Oh God, 55 of them.
You feel me? Listen,
No, well,
you want $55
no.
Starbucks?
So my rule is, I will buy the refresher. If you want a fancy frappuccino or a seasonal drink, you buy it. I'm not buying that, and
Well,
that's
that's
a huge point of
well, no,
contention
no,
in my
that's-
parents' house. But I'm like,
No,
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 I
no,
buy
no,
the
no.
regular shit.
No. If you buying a $5 refresher,
Yeah.
I don't got a problem with that.
Yeah. And
I'm
all the
cool with
drinks
that.
are
We
$5.
cool. 5 days a
That's
week
all
is
I-
$25. All right, cool.
Yep, no, that's what I buy. The only thing
If
I will
you
buy.
talking about ginger oat
No,
plus
no, no,
cinnamon
no, no.
plus the snowflakes from Jesus, you
No,
need to
I'm
buy
not.
that
I'm not
yourself.
buying.
That's
Yeah.
$14.
Yep. That's my rule. That's my. If you want the seasonal drink, you
So-
save your money and buy it.
Well, yeah. Listen. I once again, yes, I do only have it twice a month, so it is a little bit easier to
To
spend that-
indulge, to
indulge
hang
in that
out.
money. But the thing is what I want you to learn. Number one is what I didn't get to learn when I was younger is the importance of money.
Yeah, or just
You know what I'm saying?
or like prioritizing your wants.
Yeah, like listen, trust me, I wouldn't mind putting a certain amount of money on my Starbucks card, you being a part of my account, and you go. But now if I start to see I do that,
It's just
and now
depleted.
$10 drink here, $10 drink there.
I was in the city the other day. Me and Amanda were at work. So out here, the oat milk drink is like, I think like $7.
It's six.
No, it's $8.
And no, if you got any add-ins, I get the drink as it is, by however they make it. It's- It's
$6.46.
$6.46.
Me and her paid $16 this weekend.
So okay, in the city, that drink is $9. It's $9.89.
Wait, Dad, I got you right now. Right here.
So, but my point for her is, I've built up myself where I'm able to say we can go to Starbucks every night and spend $11.
100%, yeah.
And then when my parents are like, just buy him a frappuccino, and I'm like, no, because then if I buy the frappuccino 5 times, that's fucking 9 times 5 is fucking $40 in just frappuccinos.
Yeah. So see, there it goes right. So a little less than $8. So
Yeah, $7.35. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
we
that's
got it.
about right.
Brooklyn, yeah, and Kings Plaza. That's where we got it.
Yeah, so
But
So-
see, what I try to get her to realize, to get it for me sometimes, because
I'm not
I've
getting it.
compared the prices with grandma in the pool. Our
So
drinks
it's $1
regularly
difference.
Are $11.27,
11.21,
11.24.
21.
With the oat milk chai, it's $11.68.
It's not $11.68. It's like $12.
If
but
order
it's-
ahead for $25.05 with a bill, I would show you right now. It's $11.68.
No, I'm not doing it. If you want anything other than the basic drink I'm willing to get, then you get it
40
yourself.
cents.
And it's not 40 cents. It's $1.
But see that's the
I don't
thing. See,
care.
and that's
You add that up the 5-6 times we go over the time of a
What?
month.
but
Uno.
see-
No,
but
because
see-
if you add that up over all the times we've gone to Starbucks, that's $30, $40.
See, and then listen, that's why, and and I'm not picking at you, but that is why you think the way you think, because we've gotten to a point to where like when you were young, we were broke, bro. We were like,
I didn't have anything
Bro.
for anything.
like my unemployment was good enough for Chinese food, and that was about it.
I
Literally.
was working at Flavor, and then I started working at H&R Block, but even that was a little
So
bit more
now
than
you're
minimum.
a kid now that walks around with a Switch, 2 Xbox
Dunks.
locations, friggin' an iPad,
Dunks,
all kinds of things.
Air Forces,
and
new
nothing is
phones.
wrong with that. But you have to.
You still have them though. That's what I'm saying. Not all kids have them. You might just have those and that's it.
Oh my God, not all kids have. Do you want me to take a video of the
Well, but that's where
Yeah,
you
but-
go to school.
Every kid-
But
No, but
that's
no.
but that's where you go to school. Not every kid has the.
Let me
Your
tell you
former
something.
friend doesn't have it like
I
that.
knew people that couldn't get Air Forces, and they got literally your mom knows. We knew people that had like $40 sneakers. And
Yeah,
and
you
shit
went
like
to
that.
you got those. What were they? The Stephon Marbury's from.
Yeah, I
Payless?
used to get the BOGO, buy one and get the. Yeah,
It doesn't matter. Even not
it's
everybody had it.
But see, that's the problem. That's what I'm saying. That's how you and your. I don't know if that's how your friends think
Well,
either.
but it is very much the area that she goes to
but
school in. But these kids have no
20
concept of what things cost.
2023, you don't understand. Like, you have people who make maybe about 30% more than what me and your mom make, and they feeling it. And they're like, yo, the inflation is high. Inflation. Why you think Bill Gates and all his kids and everybody, they know how to run money? Bill Gates already told him, you not getting my bread.
Nope.
My billions,
They're not.
you ain't getting it.
They're not in his will.
You're
They're not getting
going to-
anything.
It's all going to charity. Same thing with your boy Jeff Bezos. Those billions,
Nope.
not going to his
Yeah.
kids
Nope.
either.
You're not going. You're not getting.
You have
shit.
to learn the value of money. Just because somebody gives you something doesn't mean
If you
that.
you'll be
it's an
broke
easy
tomorrow if you don't know
access
how to manage it.
Because what that starts to entail, or what kind of habits that bring, is that if I can't get it, I'm gonna go find a way to go get it, because I can't deal with not being able to get it.
Yeah, you're gonna figure out the course of action to be able to afford that.
And
So
do it.
for me, when you were younger and I wasn't able, like I would take you to on Wednesdays in Luna Park. It was free. Like you would just bring. I was a student, so I'd bring my student ID. And it was free to go on that day.
Yeah.
So I would take advantage of that and go because during the week, otherwise I couldn't afford to take her. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would get, I think after I paid my car insurance, whatever else, I had like $120 for 2 weeks. It's $60 a week. Going to Luna Park would have been $40. So I'm
Yeah.
like, that leaves me with $20 to get around. I can't do that. I need to put gas in the car. I need to do whatever else. So I can't. So when it was free, I was like, shit. I'm like, let's fucking go. I'm like, and I'm not asking for help or handouts because that gets you know, just like I do, it gets held over your head for all fucking eternity.
100%. That's what I say. Like, you gotta understand. Like, there's things that like yeah, money is good right now when you're a kid, but you gotta understand, once you get that adult status, and people start to look at you like you could pay your own rent, that's how they gonna make you feel.
Yep. No, you don't. There's no more handouts. But just the fact that I was able to say, all right, those tickets went on sale on Friday. All right, this is what I could comfortably afford to blow on them.
100%.
Cool.
Listen,
And
not
I mean,
everybody got $600.
And
Just
J.
run out
Cole's
like that.
not even going.
well, we found out
But
after the fact,
yeah.
but still, but
still,
just the
though.
cost of it. I could have otherwise. I mean, a couple years ago when you wanted to go see Ariana Grande, they were $400, and I was like, I don't even have anything close to that to drop on these tickets.
100%.
There's no fucking way. She hasn't really released any new music either, really.
Yeah.
But besides that, like
it's
I
up
didn't
to
have.
her.
Now
If
I
she
was like, all
wanna
right,
do,
I can
I
move.
like-
I can move this around. I can move that around, and we could go to the concert. But years ago, I couldn't do that, and that's another reason I'm like, if he had just done the right thing for me, if he had just done the right thing, not joined the fucking army, because I knew that was gonna be a shit show. Nobody listened to me. Everyone's like, it's gonna be so good for him. He's gonna love it. He's gonna become a different person. I'm like, he's gonna fuck it up. And they're like,
I am a different person now,
they're like, yeah, you have PTSD.
and I can't sleep.
And a cough. I'm like, it's not gonna. I'm like, he's too young. I'm like, he can't even commit to like being a parent for. How is he? I'm like, this isn't gonna do any good for him. He's gonna hate this and the rigidity of it and the routine. He's gonna hate every minute of this. They're gonna hate him, and it's gonna be a bad time. And did I call it or did I fucking call it? I knew it. And I'm like, and then he's just gonna, whatever lifestyle he's in there, he doesn't want the responsibility, so he's gonna stay there. And once I knew for sure you were out, again, I found that on fucking Facebook. I'm like, there's no fucking way. I'm like, there's no way that this man willingly chose to stay in fucking Yeehaw, Texas, in the yeehawest of Texas, and not come home to his kid. She's older now, like, and then it was a fucking uphill battle to even get you. At that point, I had started to like separate my like bills and everything. My parents were like, all right, you know, like either kick in or figure it out. I got my own phone bill, whatever, and that's when I was like, because we had gone down for child support when she was a baby. She was like 2 months old, and they had set it at like, I don't know, like $50-something a week. And then that instance when I knew you were out of the army, and then people be posting and tagging you in pictures, and I'm like, oh, you want to have fun? And I'm like, you can have fun? I'm like, huh. I'm like, the fucking nerve. I'm shopping at Rainbow.
The nerve. I'm glad you said the nerve.
The nerve. I'm like, meanwhile, I called you up and asked you for fucking winter clothes. I needed to buy her a fucking winter coat. My mom had to go halfsies with me on it. I'm like, this motherfucker's out here drinking fucking Modelo's in the middle of Texas. I'm like, this can't be. I was like, I know I'm not seeing what I'm like, and then I'm like, I text you a week ago to ask you, hey, I know, like, it's not cold there, but it's cold here. Like, she went from having, like, that full body snow, like, the puffy snowsuit where you were like a fucking, but you got to the point where you could use a regular zip-up jacket. So I needed to go buy you, because you were in daycare.
As a child, I didn't hang those?
Well, you didn't really have, that's kind of all they sell for babies under 2, like that bigger, puffier thing.
So,
But when you went to daycare, you needed a regular coat. So I went to Kohl's, and I, like, priced one out, and some coats are, like, wildly expensive. I found a coat, I think it was, like, maybe $50 for the coat, and I'm like, perfect. It had the insulated, remember the purple one with you had the fleece? The fleece, and you could take the fleece out, and then you could make it so I was like, this is perfect, because in the spring, she could just wear the fleece. And I was like, I'll get it 6 months bigger so we could layer her up, and then she has it, whatever. I hit this fucking fool up, and I'm like, hey, this coat is this much money. Can you send this to me, or send it to your mom so your mom can give it to me, because then there was no Zelle. Give it to your mom, and then, or let your mom know to take it out so she can give it to me when I see her. Nothing. So I'm like, well, it's getting cold. She needs a coat. Grandma was like, I'll go half with you. So Grandma puts half the money in because remember, at that point, when you were little, Anna and Uncle Phil were still kids. So they were still supporting them. They were still, Uncle Phil was in middle school when you were born. They were still supporting younger children. They still needed school clothes. They were supporting their own kids. So Grandma went half with me on the coat. And that, for me, I was like, are we fucking kidding me? I'm like, you know, like, my associates. I graduated in June of 2015. He came back in September of 2015. That's June of 2015. I graduated with that, and I had already started my bachelor's when he had returned, because Grandma Martha called me, and she's like, would you want to give him a chance to, like, be a dad? And I'm like, he's already proving he don't want to be a fucking dad. What do you mean, Martha? I'm like, I've had it, Martha. I'm tired. And she's like, I know. She's like, and I was like, Martha, I will continue my agreement with you. I don't give a fuck what he does. I was like, if he's there when she's there, great. If he's not, who cares? And she's like, okay, I know why you feel the way you feel. And I'm like, but that, for me, the coat debacle of fucking 2011, I don't want you to do that, please. Thank you. Stop it.
Do you still have this hat that you made?
Yes, I still have the hat. But after the great coat debacle of 2011, I was like, you know what?
It's like, this is like...
Or no, it was 2012, because she was 3. I was like, you know what, sir? I was like, if you don't want to willingly help me, like, I'm so much asking. I'm not even asking for I just fucking, when I'm like, hey, this is what I bought for school, like we do now. I'm like, hey, these are the school clothes. Here's the other half. Cool. You couldn't even send me money for a coat. I was like, I'm taking my ass out to child support enforcement.
Yeah.
I was like, you can't send me $25, sir? Perfect.
I think I was more like being petty than anything.
You were being petty.
Yeah,
You were being petty.
It was more being an asshole towards you.
Yeah, because you were like, why do you have to buy such an expensive coat? I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to buy her? That is the cheapest coat in Kohl's. And you were like, my mom would take me to Dr. J's and get me a coat for $25 and it was fine. I'm like, you shivered all fucking winter. I'm like, what do you mean it was fine? I was like, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, you know what? Now they're going to make you. So I went down to, and it's funny because the enforcement office was right near where I ended up going to college. But I went down there, and I keep, well, she knows, I keep fucking receipts for days. So I had every paper, I printed out every message I sent you, every fucking email, every fucking paper that I had sent, everything. Every time I tracked you somewhere, I'm like, this is his last current address. I brought it all. Okay.
Well, you went in there
efficient as a motherfucker.
Yeah,
because they was like, well, you need. I was like, no, I already have that. Next, and she's like, I was like, I also have it here. And she's like, you're gonna. I'm like, Marshall's notice right there. I was like, so I have all those things. When can you start taking it out of his paychecks? And she's
Ammoed
like,
up.
okay, because at that point you were out of the army. When you were in the army, they were taking it out automatically and giving it to the
Oh, yeah.
daycare. So you had no say. But because you had left, and I think you were working at Taco Bell at the
Oh
time,
my God.
I was like, when's he gonna start seeing it come out? And they're like, well, they're like, as long as the information, I'm like, it checks out. I'm like, I'll wait while you run it. I'm like, I'll wait right here. She goes back and she's like, yeah. She's like, yep. She's like, so we'll notify whatever the parent company of Taco Bell was, and
Yeah,
then
because they usually take about like 2 weeks
yeah.
or a week,
So
something like that.
2 weeks later, I got the fucking notice that in the mail, and they're like, congratulations, we tracked down your fugitive, and I was like, yeah. I'm like, that now I bet you'll answer the phone, you petty fuck. I'm like, keep
Bro,
ignoring my fucking
you
phone
know when that
calls.
shit hit, we get checked. You're like, wait.
And at that point, you were in arrears. So it was
Oh,
taking out the
yeah.
regular amount and the
And the-
arrears
oh
amount.
my God,
And I
man,
hate
that's
being,
rough.
I hate because you see those things on Instagram where it's like the petty baby mama that only goes for child support to be spiteful. And I'm like, I asked you nicely. You brought this, you brought it to this point.
I feel like there's everybody. I feel like everybody has a story. Like we have our story, and then there's like whatever, like other baby mamas out there that have.
They
their
get broken
story.
up with and then they go for
Yeah,
child support.
and then-
That wasn't
and
the
they
case.
have a story for that.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
pretty
there's-
sure too that whatever the baby fathers too have a story, but I feel like, and this was funny because I was talking to Amanda about it the other day. I felt like I was saying like I felt like if I would have handled, like if I would have seen the situation how I see it now,
You wouldn't have been like that.
It wouldn't have
No.
been like that. But
You forced my hand.
you
I
know,
had no choice.
in all cases, everything happens for a reason. The way I see it,
Yeah, at that point I felt like I was backed into a corner,
Yeah.
and my only course of action to get your attention was to do it that way because I'm like, I'm not going to chase you around, and I'm certainly not going to, like, and then I was putting stuff on a credit card because I'm like, now wait a minute, I'm like, I'm putting stuff on a credit card, paying interest on it, paying it off, and this fucking doofus is just out here living his best fucking life. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck? So I was like, no. And sure enough, as soon as that shit came out, what the fuck is coming out of my paycheck? And I'm like, that would be New York State Child Support Enforcement. Why? What the fuck is it doing on my paycheck? And I'm like, bro, I left you several messages. You didn't answer me. We've been trying to contact you about your car's extended warranty.
But I ain't gonna lie to you, your mom didn't make my dating life that easy though.
No, I didn't. I didn't. I was impossible. And I
think
think it's
that
funny
was
because I was talking to
also
Amanda
too-
about it.
Oh, that was also too one of the things that
I was very spiteful.
very was making me
I tell her
petty.
all the time, at
Like-
least now that I'm older, I don't care. As long as you don't have any more kids, I don't care.
No, well,
No, we're talking about
when
when
you were
we were
younger.
younger,
My
though.
problem is with him was we would break up, and we did this in high school too.
Oh my god.
We would break up, and then I'd be pissed, and then I would just like start to go live my life a little bit. And here comes your dad. I think we could probably work things out. I think we should be together. And I'd be like, okay, sure, fine. And then a week later, I get, girl, I'm coming to you with a woman, and I really think that you should know. And I'd be like, here the fuck we go. And I'm like, what is it? Believe what you want. Believe what you want. If you want to believe that, they're just trying to home wreck. And I'm like, I don't think they are.
Mom is also first tell for like if Susie tells her, and then here comes Johnny down the line.
Bro,
She's
she
like,
don't believe you.
She's like, I don't care. Susie told me.
No,
first, I don't believe
Susie
you."
came with
Yeah.
receipts. They would come with screenshots of his shit, and they would send screen grabs. That's when you first could learn to screen grab on a Mac, and you could send it.
Yeah.
And then do you remember that girl Jessica? So the level of deranged and unhinged that I had this girl call
Yo,
me.
that was foul though. That was real.
There was
foul,
no.
yo.
That's why when I when I tell people now, I'm like, you don't know the limits that you got like the watered down. If you want to know the heights that I went to, let Jerry tell you. So this girl Jessica, she messaged me and was like that your dad was still in Texas, and she messaged me and was like, I've been dating this guy, whatever, and he says he's not with the child's mother, and I'm like, well, and I sent her all the messages that I had between us, and I was like, he's lying, and like he's telling me that you're just this crazy bitch that he met one night and you won't leave him alone, and she's like,
I
no.
don't even remember this. Yeah,
She's
but-
like, no, it's not. So
I
we
just
went
remember the
back
call
and
part.
forth.
That was it.
So I could have been mad at this bitch, and I kind of was, but I'm like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So I'm like, bitch, let's catch him caught up. I'm like, you call me, and then you go meet him in the car, and you just get him to tell you all the shit that's been in these messages so I could hear it, and then I'm just going to chime in. So she called me and put the phone underneath something. I don't know if it was a hat or whatever else
No,
it was.
so it was this is the first time I've ever found out that Texas sells like full on dashboard protectors. So she had that, but she had like a real girly one, so it was like real fucking like fuzzy and shit. So,
Yeah, Texas Yeehaw
so I
stuff.
couldn't see.
Yep, she puts the
the
phone
phone,
there,
she
and
put it-
your dad gets in the car, and he's like, and she's like, well, your daughter's been the message. Well, she's crazy. I told you that. And she's like, I don't know, everything that she sent me kind of. I'm telling you, it doesn't make sense. She's fucking crazy. She's mad. We're not together. And I'm like, is that fucking so? And he's like, what the fuck?
Yo, the interpretation of my voice from you just makes it a lot better.
Because
but-
he was like, what the fuck is this? What do you call my baby's mother? What are you doing? And then he gets out, and she started yelling. She got out of the car and started screaming at him. And I was like, all right, well, my job here is done. Doot, doot, doot. And I was like, there's that.
Oh my god.
And that's not the only time that has ever happened where I've orchestrated like a sting mission.
You go.
Dude, yeah, I'm telling you.
Above
your
and
mom
beyond.
goes to some extent that, yeah.
You don't gotta go that
The receipt
far.
queen. I've never done it again. Now I'm just
No.
like,
But no,
go back to
so-
where you came from.
But I feel like though, like through all of that turmoil that we've been through, we've learned a lot about each other, and it has brought us closer together as friends, because that's originally like Libra and Gemini, like they go hand in hand. So it's
Yeah,
like,
there's a couple of signs that are like.
so
like buddies.
she understands a little bit of my madness, and I understand her
That's why I sent it.
chaotic need to be CIA/FBI.
If it
Listen,
is something to be found out, I'm finding it out.
one thing I've learned, and this is why I always tell you, but you still don't listen. Don't lie to your mom, cause the only thing your mama want when she asks you a question is the truth. That's it.
And most of the time, as your dad can tell you, I already know the answer when I ask it. No, I'm gonna ask to clarify.
No,
I'm asking
that's it.
clarifying questions. I want it on the record.
Like that, and that's why I always tell you, don't lie, bro. Like, dude, just
She ain't gotta
be
CIA. Just
honest.
talk to me as a person.
We do, and you still lie.
And you
bro.
lie, so now I'm like, whatever. Because your dad's been caught numerous times, and
Dude.
then when he
That's the
would
best
come
thing that a
back.
kid can say. Just do what I say.
Yeah, just
I know.
I'll tell you the story you need to know, and then don't worry about the rest. And I'm like, I already know. Your dad tried that for many years, and then I think by the time you came back,
I wonder why kids don't tell their parents anything.
No,
We
no,
don't
no,
Well,
trust
no.
You guys, we don't trust your response. We don't have.
No,
we
I
don't like
I
how you
think-
trust. We don't like how you answer us.
well, sometimes I have to give you the diplomatic fucking
No.
the parental answer, and then sometimes depending on the severity of the situation, I won't give when I was like, well, fuck that bitch. Like,
Kids. No.
sometimes you're not gonna get a parental answer. Other times
Yeah.
I have to give you one. Like with the whole
yeah.
situation with the meeting somebody online, like that had to be like cookie cutter parental answer.
Well,
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about like dad's always like, oh, like come to me with something, and like that's all fine and dandy. I'll go to you guys about something, and then the response back.
Well,
It's
so-
not
No.
it depends on what it is, though. Sometimes,
But Ava, you can't play that sword like it's double edged. Because I
Mm-hmm.
tell you, come to me with the problem, and I'm gonna give you a solution.
No,
By
I
the
get
time
yelled
you-
at by the both of you.
By the
because
time
we already
you,
told you about this.
By the time you get to me with your problem,
It's a magnet. It's
she's already gotten a lie
And then she
and
twists it.
No. She's already got 62 lies from you, and then the teacher has already told her the truth, or she's already found the truth about what the fuck you did. So by the
And
time
I'm
it gets
annoyed.
to me, I'm dealing with a nuclear bomb. So now, of course, now I'm mad because her shit radiating on me, and now I gotta get at you.
yeah, because I'm mad.
because-
I'm like for fucking 6 years. Anytime I was mad, I had to be mad all by myself. And now I'm mad. You're gonna be mad too. My day is ruined. Your day is ruined. I'm like for years and years. Anytime we had a meltdown or fucking we didn't listen or she learned the fucking word no, you're gonna feel it. But in all of those instances,
No,
even
I'm talking
even.
about, like not like a problem or something that I did wrong. I'm talking about like if I wanted to come together with something like more like internal, like mentally.
Internal.
Like, yeah.
Internal memo.
Like if I was like, let's just say like let's just say I was.
I have a crush on Jake, Dad.
Yeah.
What do you think I should do?
Like if I was like
Yo, like,
depressed and I wanted to come to you guys about it, the response from you guys.
for-
No, that's bullshit. Because
Okay, no,
I
you've
offered to
never
get you a
come- yeah,
therapist.
you-
I don't want a therapist.
That's the answer to that
Well,
problem,
that's-
though.
It's
First of all,
No, but I'm
that's-
saying if it was hypothetical and that's what
Okay.
that's the response. It's something I'm not a licensed clinical therapist. It's something I can do. But if you come-
talk to me about
Right,
what
but
I
if
wanna
you come
talk
to me
about.
with that, the responsible adult thing for me to do, the parental thing for me to do is to get you help. So if you once you tell me that there's actions I have to
technically,
take.
I would talk to you first.
See,
And
you
then-
would talk to me.
But if
Don't
I,
talk to me about having to therapist.
but I
Yeah, there's nothing I can
feel-
do. You need professional
But if
help.
I feel like the intentions behind your emotions are a little, whew, then I'm gonna be like, you know what I'm saying, I gotta talk to you. But if it's something that, yeah, you a little down about, and we can sit down and have a conversation about and nip it in the bud, like me and you, and you say, all right, Dad, you know what, thanks, I feel better about having this conversation, I'm cool. Then I'm cool with that. But you've never put us in that position. I don't know if you put your mom in that position, but you've never put me in a position where you were like, yo,
Well, I
Dad,
would never put her in that
let me
position,
holler
and
at you or
I
something.
tell her, everybody now
Yeah,
knows.
but-
And
No,
I've seen countless TikToks
not
about
so
it.
much anymore because well, we were talking about on Friday. Like now, because once me trying to because you talk to your parents because you want their like insight, but then you realize but then you realize the guidance that they're giving you is skewed because it's coming from the mentality of when they were raising their kids and the time that they
Right.
grew up. So you're like, you're probably not the person that I'm going to ask for this because the way I'm thinking about going about it, you're adding more stress to the situation because I wouldn't. That's not even a thought consideration for me, and now you're telling me, like. I'm like, that doesn't make sense for me. So now, like, I restrain what I share because it's like I'm gonna make the judgment call as her parent. I'll run it by you, and I'm like, okay.
I try to share the best of both worlds. I try to take like what my mom would say and how I feel. I can't say what I would do because obviously I didn't come up with it yet, but how I feel, and then I kind of try to blend the two for a fair decision for her. You know what I'm saying? Like, even just like the little things that we do, like the new TV. My mom was like, she had a decent TV, Samsung. It's better than the TV that I have in my room. Not better than my living room TV, but better than my room TV. So, and so then, like my nephews, they're not picky. So my mom was like, listen, just let's get her something new. She's older. She had the TV longer. So we'll get her something new, and then she could pass on.
The TV. That's usually how it works.
And so,
like with
and
older
so
siblings
and
or
that's how I
cousins.
try to look at things, and that's why I say like I get what you're saying, but you've never put any of that to paper. Like, at least with me, you've never put it to paper. So you can't say that, hey, Dad, I can't never ask you anything because you don't ever give me a chance. Or when you talk to me, the whole world knows. Like, you've never given me
that's what
that
I'm saying,
chance.
not like to you, like you're more
You know what I'm
like
saying?
let's talk about where mom is like, oh, you told me, but now I'm gonna tell A, B, and C.
Yeah, but
and
like
now
I just said, that was more middle school. I haven't since you've been in high school. It's been pretty much like because now I'll let her hang out after school, and the only one ask I have is that she doesn't do it when I'm not on Staten Island because of how far away I work. If something were to go on, no matter what I do, even if I take an Uber, I'm over an hour away. I'm not close enough to react. No matter, I have to take a fucking helicopter.
I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna get there in time.
That's what
either,
I'm saying.
'cause,
There's
like,
nobody. The
because
only
I'm
person.
in Long Island.
Yeah, the only person that's close enough to react would be my dad, and he's not always around either.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's out. So if you're gonna hang out, I'd rather be when I'm on Staten Island. So no matter what, I'm like 20 minutes away. So that's my one ask. Otherwise, when she's like, okay, I'm going out, and I'm like, all right, with who and to where? And she'll tell me I'm going to Starbucks. It'll tell me she left the school. The map says Ava left school. Cool. And then it says Ava completed. It thinks that she's in the car when she takes the train. But it says Ava arrived at whatever. So I'll pull up, I'll pull up the map and I'm like, oh, all right, we're at Starbucks. My beef with the map sometimes is depending on where
That she does this. I'm like,
I check because I tell her I don't give her. I be back in the house at 4 or 4:30, whatever it is. My beef with the map is depending on when she opened it last. Yeah, now it gets darker, so I'm like, go home. But wherever she opened her phone last and it pinged is where it had her location. So I was at work. Or no, where was I? I know I was working and I had a meeting and I finished the meeting and I pulled it up to look
they said I was at
and it
303
said that she
something.
was like it looked like she was on North Railroad Street and I was like, what the fuck? Like sometimes it'll ping, but then it shows she's walking. It shows a little shoe icon,
Yeah.
but it stayed there and I was like, what the Christ? Then I went to the iMessage and that wasn't updating either. So now I'm like, what the fuck? So now I'm like, my first thought was she lost her fucking phone. She left it somewhere, or she left it on the train and now it's just riding around Staten Island. So I was like, where are you? And she's like, she sends me a picture of her feet on the couch. And then she's like, Anna saw me. I'm like, oh, I just want to make sure that you physically have your phone because the
Sometimes she
phone.
doesn't do that. Sometimes she's like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like,
Well, yeah, because I'm looking at the map and it's showing like it's the purple thing is lit up like it's currently tracking her, and I'm like, that's not what Life 360 says. And then she sent me the picture, and I'm like, and then when she must have opened it up, it relocated her, but it doesn't always, and it does it at school too.
she's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "In the middle
No,
of
it,
Spanish
remember,
class?"
no,
But
remember
even with
last
the
year when you took the
location
state
sharing
test.
from Apple.
So
Oh, she had a
So, my dad
that
dropped
was
her
the
off.
funniest thing.
my dad dropped her off to school, and then she had the state tests. Then it showed that she could not be found, but it showed her last like known location looked like it was across the street from the school.
Yeah.
So I'm like, where the fuck is this kid? I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, Ava, where the fuck are you? So I called the school and I was like, just wanted to make sure that Ava was marked present today. And they're like, yeah, she's taking her science test, whatever it is. And I was like, okay, just wanted to make sure. Because sometimes the technology, she turned it off before it could refresh the location.
What really happened was they make you like physically like turn your phone off,
Yeah.
take your
Yeah.
watch off because like cheating, whatever.
It disconnected it.
It didn't like she couldn't find me, whatever. She texted me, I didn't answer, and I couldn't turn on thing till like fifth period, which was like 10, 11 o'clock. And the police had knocked on our door for like
Something unrelated.
unrelated happened, and so she's like, "Oh my god, like something happened to me." The police are on my door.
They found this kid out roaming around because I was in the city that day because my dad had taken her. On my Ring camera, I look at my wrist and I get a notification and there's cops banging on my door. I'm in the middle of not being able to find her and here the cops are knocking on my door and I was like, oh my god, I'm like this fucking kid. And I'm like,
she thought I was doing something wrong. I'm like, "Oh my god, she died."
no, I'm like, she fucking skipped school. She left the building, whatever. And I'm like, motherfucker, because Truancy's out too. And I'm like, they fucking scooped her up. But then I was like, no, because that would be my parents' address. It wouldn't be my address here. And but it was just a perfect storm of things. So I'm like, I'm going to trust but verify. So I'm going to look at the map and I'm like, where are we? Like the map's saying one thing, where are you really? But for like going back to what I was saying, like with getting advice or handling things a certain way, and your dad can attest to this, I was never allowed to just hang out. I was never allowed to just be outside. If I went to the park to just be outside, it was like hunting.
You didn't let me just walk around, so I don't want to hear
No,
it.
not just walk around. On Halloween, no, you're not.
It wasn't.
Oh, when you're no, you're not. But you're just not. To me, and I see it now from Grandma's point of view. But I was going to the park. They were playing basketball, or there was handball. Like a bunch of us were going to watch them play basketball or meet in the park. I wasn't just like walking around Cropsey Avenue. Like I was at the park. So no, but you're not walking around the neighborhood pointlessly because and there's also a level of danger there. You don't know whose house you're walking past, who's going to drive past you. You don't know any of that.
Not only that, but you don't know who's looking at you.
Yeah.
And assuming that
Or watching.
You're out to cause trouble.
Yeah, and it's just there's just no good comes from that. So
And you gotta understand, one thing you kids don't see now, and because you guys don't watch like a lot of movies or anything, y'all just
the
TikTok
news.
it up. You know, like back in even when me and your mom was growing up, like I couldn't just walk around Bensonhurst like that aimlessly.
No, they would have called the cops
And
on
I'm
them.
talking about me, Willie, Jair.
And there were a couple times they did call the cops on them. Remember the guy outside
Yeah.
that building? We were standing outside by
Yes.
Cropsey. There was a apartment building across the street from the park that the bus stop was there. Like, you know, the bus on the corner of Cropsey Avenue?
Yeah.
We were standing not in the bus stop, but like near the front of the building. They called the police on your dad, Willie, and Jair for standing there. And the cops came and had them move.
Yeah, you looked in my jacket. It was like,
Yep. It's not a...
You hear them on the radio, Latin, like, Hispanic kid, black jacket, red
They just
inside,
assume you're up to no good.
And they think.
And there's certain, if you said, like she said, I'm going to Starbucks. Okay. You know,
Yeah,
go to
'cause you're
Starbucks. I'm
hanging out
going
in
to
a place,
in the
you're in
place.
public,
But
you're-
that's what I'm saying.
you're doing something.
I would say we're going, and when it would be nice out, we're going to the park, and then I'd be home for dinner. No, we're going to Burger King after school. No, we're going to no. So when you're like, I'm going over, I'm like, okay, with who? That's it. Go ahead and then make sure you're back at the time that you need to be back because sitting
You
at the
gotta
table
be.
to eat is important for Grandma.
Do, like, find something to do, like, with a purpose. Like, yo, go out there, play handball. Find something y'all like to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not only the fact that, you know, like, just cops get called on you. It's even like what your mom said, danger, bro. You could be young and hanging out, yeah, with young guys or whatever, young women. Y'all are friends and everybody's hanging out. That don't mean that nobody can't just run up on y'all and rob you.
Or on the-
beat y'all up for no
Yeah, or
reason.
just, or you're walking around the neighborhood and you've walked around the same block twice. Now that this old
Yeah.
lady in the house thinks you're up to no good, you call the cops. Now they pick you up and it creates a bigger
You gotta have,
situation.
like, so,
But I'm talking
like,
about when you tell me I'm going to Starbucks or I'm going to Dunkin' or I'm going to Ralph's.
she
Okay.
feels more comfortable because you're doing something.
But not only that, but I'm saying my point to her is I get questioned why I'm letting her do that. Like there was one week you went out like twice. You had gone.
Oh yeah, I had a project to do after school, so I said we got out of school.
And this is another thing. She's like some of my friends got out later, so she goes home because it's treat her on the train. She drops. No, I couldn't. I was like, oh, you didn't go out. Like, what happened? Like the plans got canceled. She's like, no, I'm dropping my stuff. I'm walking Charlie. I was like, okay, but I would never, and your dad can attest, I would never be allowed to go in the house and come back out. Once I was in that house, I was done. If I set foot in that bitch, I was finished. I was not leaving
Miss
again.
P was now playing.
Not letting it happen. I would have dropped the bag off. Would have been like, great, lock the door behind you. And it's like, but I was gonna no.
See, is that you experience a different.
You get a
side.
different version of
Yeah.
me that and
your grandmother, because I'm telling you.
because so she went twice. So she went one. It was like a Monday maybe or a Wednesday, and then she went. No, it couldn't have been Tuesday because I was at work and I never sign off on it on a Tuesday. Tuesdays I'll say no, but she went one day. And then you're letting her hang out an awful lot, and it's like, not really. She's just, and then she's not doing anything. Like she's not in a club or whatever. And the one club that she wanted to join, I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I'm gonna ask my history teacher about it.
But she didn't. Whatever. So I was like, but that I feel like is just they run and get a Starbucks drink. She's out for maybe 2 hours. So, but I get the question of why you're letting her do it. Why not? Because then if she's home and sitting on the Xbox or the Switch she's just sitting here, and I'm like, I don't really. It's especially when it's not dark early. Like, yeah, all right, go to Starbucks and then whatever.
It was for a school project too.
It doesn't really matter either way. But I'm like, I don't have an issue with it. So if you're gonna go, and then just be back at the house, and that's what.
Back for dinner.
Right, but I was not allowed to do that. I didn't have that luxury. So I give it to you, and it's like, well, why? Or she's only 14, and I'm like, yeah, she's not going anywhere significantly far. It's not like you're going to the mall. You have to get on like 2 buses. That I might say no. Wait till you're 16.
Yeah, the only thing I would ask is that you make the right decisions when you're out, because I can't. I would be a hypocrite to say that you can't go anywhere, because we used to jump on our bikes all the time after school.
I'd hop on the bus. We go to the mall.
Yeah, like your mom, we'd be out here in Flatbush. We'd be, somewhere downtown Brooklyn. We'd be everywhere just because we trying to, number one, hang out and get away from anything. The only thing I ask is that you make the right decisions when you're out
or when something is dangerous, you leave.
Yeah,
and it's like, stuff will come with age. Like right now you're local to the school or to the house, fine.
Yeah.
So maybe like, the end of sophomore year, you're like, hey, a bunch of us are going to the mall, and I'm gonna be like, hey, but that's 2 buses, and you're like, I trust that you can navigate it and not get lost and get on the bus to go to the mall and then either go back to grandma's or take the bus to the house. But that comes with age.
And also,
but my point is, I wasn't.
If you get lost,
you
can
call
me.
Well, that and I can show you on the map. Ava, walk across the street in the next corner, or like walk up the block and it's around the corner. But I didn't have that luxury. It was no hanging out. And then it was like, well, bring your friends here, and your dad. We'd go there, and we had to be quiet. So like those.
You're a big noise person too.
No, because grandpa would go to sleep.
No, you ain't. I'm talking about. We talking like this,
and it was like, shut up. Because he'd go to sleep at like 6, 7 o'clock because he was getting up at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I don't want to bring anybody there because we're getting there for like 4 o'clock, and 6 o'clock, Dad's going to bed, and we had to like whisper around the campfire. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Hello. Yeah, it's like, so, like, there are some things where I will draw the line with, but then there's other things where I'm like, it is what it is, and I let go a little bit. But like those things came with like a learning curve. So, like, and that goes back to my other point of like, now you're big. So, like, I'm here on Staten Island, I'm working here. I might be busy working, but if you call me, I can just say, hold on, guys, my daughter's calling me. She's, whatever. Okay. Like, it's not like you're 2. So, like, it's not like somebody's picking you up from daycare and bringing you, home to the house, and now they're watching a 2-year-old.
No,
you saw all the weekend. There's no way you can do anything else with a 2-year-old in the house.
And
so,
also,
we cannot, there's one you told Kai sit here. She's not sitting.
Right. So that's my point.
5 seconds.
That's
and that's
my,
about it. That's it.
But that's my point with somebody that's a kid that's her age is like, yeah, she's there, but you're not really. Yes, you're
she's
responsible
there, but she's
for her.
not there. Yeah.
But if you were like, hey, we're going to dinner, Ava's like, all right, I'm upstairs watching, YouTube videos, whatever. It's different now than when she was younger. So yes, when she was younger, me going anywhere was a logistical fucking. It was a
100%.
circus. So if it wasn't. Not really, not so much. Because now for me, if it's like I said, when I have
Like,
my
even
car.
today, I went to go get my hair cut, and she was home by herself for like about an hour.
Yeah, but I'll even
That was it.
when I'm here, like if I like let's say like when I used to do my nails, I would leave you in the house. My nails, my eyebrows, you'd be in the house for 4 hours. As long as I'm able to make it back here in 30 minutes or less, I'm not really
You're not
pressed
worried,
about her
yeah.
being here. It's when I'm in Manhattan and I don't have a clear route back because it's rush hour, because it's
The bus
far.
is over
The
until
bus
they're
runs like
fine.
shit. Yeah. Where if I'm like, all right, I'm going to dinner with friends and I'll be back at
And-
midnight, whatever,
and
because
also
if she
too-
needs me, mom, this is how. Okay, guys, I gotta go. I'm hopping in the car and I'm back here in 25 minutes.
Also, too, we wouldn't be doing any justice by sheltering you. You
No.
have to learn how to maneuver out in the streets.
Mhm.
You're gonna have to learn that, and there are gonna be times. Listen, it's gonna be rough because we can't protect you from this. I mean, we can by telling you go there, get back here, don't go back outside.
No, but you have to be able to have
But
situational awareness
you
to
have
things.
to learn how to when things are transpiring, your mind has to be able to say, okay,
This is what's next, and I need to do that.
this is a fucked up situation because all of this about to happen.
Well, just exactly like you did with that whole
And I
situation
don't
with your friend
tolerate
talking to somebody online. She knew right from the get go that there's
Yeah.
no way I'm leaving this building and going with this bitch to someplace. It's a problem. I need to say something.
Yeah.
And she came to me. She said, "Mom, this is what's happening." And I said, "Okay, I need to know all of it because am I gonna reach out and be told something? Is there anything that you're involved in that I need to know about from now?"
I thought it was low-key Christmas to be yelled at.
So I was like, I just need to know because once I go to another parent about their kid, they're gonna turn and say, "Well, do you know about your kid?" I need to know that information before it's told to me, so I can say yes, and we've spoken about it. But I think you should know blah blah blah. So those things, like it's different now that one, I live outside of I live alone. It's just her and I, and then there's no like peanut gallery of before it would be like the same themes constantly. The teacher would be like, she doesn't shut up, she's disrespectful, and I'd be having I think it goes also back to you feel overstimulated and you feel like attacked and judged. So now your patience is much thinner because the bandwidth for it is so much smaller because you're constantly being attacked. You feel like you're under a microscope. So now your bandwidth for it is so much smaller. So now you're trying to have a conversation and here comes 8 other people with their fucking
Of course.
2 cents and you're just like, fuck this whole situation.
Because
And then it's like, just don't do it. I'm tired of dealing with this. Just shut up in the class. Shut up.
Mhm.
So every time I get a phone call, I'm like, here comes the fucking circus, because there's no way for me to navigate this without an audience. Now it's like, I'm gonna pick her up, I'm not gonna say shit, and that's
Get in
it.
the car and it gets screamed at.
So it's like, no, I get pissy because then you get that blank stare, and then you get stupid ass responses.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too. Is that was my number one thing with her that I did
The
not
reason you
like.
get those
I
blank
like.
stares and stupid answers because you're yelling.
No, I don't start
No,
yelling
no,
until
we-
I start
I
out like
ain't gonna
that,
hold you though. We don't start yelling until we
until
say, Ava,
yeah,
why did you do this?
and then we go, oh,
I don't know.
I didn't do it.
The teacher's lying.
The teacher hates me. And I'm like, yeah, all right.
That's the worst one that I get. Yo, dude, sometimes that shit make me want to rock you like you my age, bro. I be like, yo, my man,
the
like,
day
yo.
that my teacher said that that I hit her in the face with a ball, I was pissed because that is not what happened. And I
Dude.
would die on that
Yo.
hill.
She said
but
that
no
you
matter-
threw it and it hit her in the face. She didn't say.
Yo, when your mom
but no
told me
matter
that
what
shit.
I said, she came in gung ho saying, "You
Because
hit
why would a
teacher."
teacher? Why is a teacher gonna?
Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. When your mom told me that shit, I wanted to fuck you up. I wanted to fuck you up
that,
so
And
bad.
that is the exact reason why I say nothing.
But
Because
yo,
I have a credible source. It's they're older, they're this.
What
I
credible
believe that
source? The
person.
teacher and it was the adult teacher in the room said you threw it at her and it hit her in the face.
It's not my fault. You don't know how to catch a ball.
But
And
you
I-
should have-
so
but
then
you shouldn't have
you shouldn't have
thrown
thrown
it,
it.
yeah.
That's my point.
I didn't even
You
know
just
that.
said it. You just snitched your own self out. It's not my fault. You can't catch a ball.
She
Like,
can't.
so then you should never do it.
I
You
didn't
should.
throw it.
I'm just gonna pause. This is why I yell.
Yeah.
Because wait, what is my number one rule? What do I hate the most in life? What do I hate?
People,
Besides that, what do I hate getting?
noise.
And
Oh, phone call.
I hate phone calls. I hate them.
But
So-
she know what she doing. That's the
But
thing.
that's my thing though.
Like
You
that,
push
you
it
know
just
what
enough so
happened.
that they think they push enough so they email me. I could deal with an email.
Yeah.
Don't call me. And it's even worse because they're in school at 7:10. So if this bitch pisses somebody off early in the
Yeah.
morning, I'm getting a phone call at
Come
fucking
on,
9
they
a.m.
know.
There is nothing more aggravating than being
Bro.
woken up out of a dead sleep to get a fucking
Bro,
phone
ain't
call.
no human being gonna lie about you throwing something at their face. I don't care what you say, bro. There's no professional person that has a teacher student relate. Why? Why would they lie? But they what?
She didn't like me that
She's
entire
not
time.
benefiting.
Nothing for
Even if you
No.
got home and
They
got
always
your
call.
ass whooped, there was no benefit to her from that. So that's my thing. And one thing I
Okay,
always
you shoot me right now, I'll die on the hill.
and one thing I always tell you is you can sit there and you can have that attitude about I'm not gonna tell you nothing, I'm not gonna do anything, and I love you and I'll never give up on you, but I'm gonna give you that same advice. You gonna fuck around, you gonna find out. And that's how life works. And that's it. So you can sit there and say, I'm never gonna tell you anything, and that's fine with me. Go ahead, go tell your friend that got the same amount of experience in life as you, which ain't shit.
Which is way
You
too
know,
parents.
you know what I'm saying? That
But,
don't
that,
mean
but, that's,
nothing.
but that's again, that's your interpretation of it, and that's what they tell you.
Yeah,
That's not
100%.
necessarily the truth.
If I told you what my friends did in school, you'd be like, oh wow, their parents really are chill. Their parents
Well,
really
I don't know
are
what chill means. What, they fail classes, they get to skip stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you get to
yeah,
stay
actually, I
home.
do have a friend who basically doesn't come to ELA at all. The teacher.
That's
called her
never
mom
happening.
And
That's
And
never
what?
ever
And
happening.
What? And what?
her mom doesn't do it. Her mom doesn't care.
Then that's shitty parenting.
Okay, so
So
you
she's
mean to
gonna
tell
fail
me?
freshman English.
And I was late. I was
Okay.
like
There's
4
no-
minutes
there-
late.
8 minutes and there's no reason to be
Ava,
late.
Ava, my point is, so you want us to be chill and let you do the
Dumb shit.
stupidity that they do,
I don't
right?
need- I don't need the extent.
Hold on. So that in the case that you don't get the credits for the class and you don't pass, guess what? You're doing it again the next year. And then that means you have to stay in that high school even longer. So guess what? That same person that's their parents are so chill,
skip freshman English. Yeah, and I took
they're
my
gonna
senior
get
fucking
their
year.
shit together when they parents end up finding out that they gonna be there for about another half a year. They gonna get their shit together. Yeah? And your mom ain't lying. They gonna get their shit together, and guess what? When you like me in there for another 6 months and they're like, well, Ava, I'm going to BMCC. I'll see you later.
Like, going back to
Alright.
Tottenville because my mom let me skip freshman
You know what I'm
English.
saying? Like, bro, like, I'm telling you,
I'm
bro.
not saying like that, but like.
That'll never happen. But still.
No, I'm not saying that if you guys were cool with it, that I'm going to do that. But the fact that she called you because I was late one time by 4 minutes, and you can ask anybody that goes to that school, those hallways are jam packed,
Right.
and the reaction that I got from it.
Because,
was
Ava,
insane.
we know that
No,
you
because you didn't go
are.
to high school with
No,
4,000 kids.
it-
There was still,
it
our high
doesn't
school was
matter.
still packed.
We
the school
know-
was still small.
We know and hold you to another standard because
We
you
know you could do
produced
better. Yeah.
gold standard.
There's just no reason to be.
So that's
my
why
thing.
you
There's no
get held
reason.
to
There's
that.
no logic for it. Like,
Yeah,
walk
you
fast,
get
take
held
bigger
to a
steps.
certain standard because that's what you've always accomplished. So you can't be mad now because you want to go from gold to silver and we mad.
You can't
No,
downgrade your membership
no,
now,
no,
bro.
no. I'm sorry, homie. You about to be 18. You better, matter of fact, instead of going gold, you need to be at platinum. Start getting to platinum. That's what I like.
My Fortnite rank can't even get to platinum. We ain't going all
But
the way
those
to
are that's
But
my
that's what
thing.
we're
There's
saying.
certain things where I'm like, I don't really care. Like with grandma, my mom's like, she needs to get an 80 in math. I'm like, let's just shoot for the realism here, 70.
Right. and
70,
you can work
Play
on
to your
those
strengths.
things.
And my
You
mom's
can
like,
work on
that's you're okay with that? And I'm like, everything else got to be an 80. 100% agree with you. Math,
those. Listen,
let's
I
just
agree.
be real here.
Listen,
70. 70 is the minimum. Mom's like, it needs to be 80. And I'm like, it's never gonna be.
85.
So yeah, my mom's like 85, and I'm like, in every other subject, sure, and she has her report card minus math.
No, listen,
Yeah.
I agree.
So I was
agree
fine. I
with
left it alone.
Grandma.
I didn't say
80
shit
is
to you
good.
about your report card, right? I haven't said nothing to you about your grades. The only thing I pushed about was the math grade. That was it. And now it's a 72. I get that
Listen,
stupid fucking
that's what
readout, and I'm like,
that's what and that's what
who
I
means?
expect. If you went from 70 to 72, you could go from 72 to 74. That's
see,
how
I'm not
I
even
look
asking
at
for
it.
that, bro.
Listen,
I'm just like,
That's what I'm
Toe-
asking for
toe
because
the
I know
line,
you
bro.
could do it. I know you could do it. I'm not going to sit there and ask you for bare minimum when I know you're possible of above and beyond. That I'm sorry. Not for the amount of stuff you get, not for the amount of stuff that you want.
but that's the
No.
thing. For me, I'd rather her take that. And she's like,
Hell
she got a
no.
90 in Spanish, so she's got a 90 in Spanish. She got a 92 in global,
I'm
or
not
whatever it
asking
is.
you for a 90 in math.
No.
80.
See, no.
78. 78.
No,
will
see,
make
I'm
me
like,
happy.
you hit a 70.
96.
Gucci.
No, I can play the cello almost 100%. I got a 96.
Listen, I'll buy you a cello, but I want a 78
I
in
think
math.
my history
I will take off 2 points from George's average. I want a 78. I buy you a cello. You could be a professional cello.
83. What are you talking about?
See, but this is why I want to punch her in the fucking esophagus sometimes, because as long as I'm not getting phone calls from these teachers and you're meeting the bare minimums I'm giving you, that's it. Because then I'd rather you apply yourself to the subject you like more and enjoy it, because fuck math. Like, get the 70 and have it, because then I think of it like numbers wise. I'm like, all right, so if you had a 70 but you have 90s everywhere else, your average will still be in that range. You'll still be good. You'll still be good for college.
I want you to be the smartest lawyer out there. I want when they
I'm
say,
like,
hey,
she's
but what's
not gonna be a
30%
fucking,
of the
she's not an accounting
100,000?
lawyer.
What's 30% of the 100,000 I gotta pay you?
I'm trying to be in the criminal side.
Yeah, what you think? When they talking about how many days people gotta serve and all that kind
It's not
I'm pretty.
percents.
They got, yes, they do got percents.
You're not finding the area of the fucking jail cells they're
Yo,
gonna be
listen,
in.
they going in there and they finding out some shit. All right, listen,
Not
and there's
numbers.
numbers
I'm
in
not
there.
trying to be a criminologist or a
All right.
forensic.
So what
But-
I'm trying to
but that's-
tell you is, listen. Your mom says total line.
Totally.
I ain't asking for total line. I'm asking for a little bit more. Toe it plus pull. Toe plus pull.
Stand on it. That's it.
You feel me? That's what I'm asking for. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you say no to me, that's cool. Your Christmas gift get downgraded. A little bit. I toe the line on the Christmas gift. You feel me? That's all I'm saying. But I know what is expected of you because you've done it before. You've done it
In math?
in
I was gonna say, bro, in math.
No, I'm not saying.
That's because you weren't here for all these fucking years, so you don't know what it was like.
No, but you've always said that she's always gotten awards and
Not in math.
No, nigga, I'm just talking about in
I was like,
just academics in general.
This
you've done
child?
it. Yeah, her.
Not in math. She got a citizenship award. She got
That's what I'm
an
saying.
English. Citizenship ain't got shit to do with math. She didn't get no awards because she can fucking add shit together.
I don't care because you still got an academic award. I'm cool with that.
Because of her
But you're
collective.
going to have to start picking up math. You're not going to sit here and 92 in English and then 95
because
and
that's-
leave
sir.
little algebra by
Sir,
himself.
when you add up the 7 classes she takes, you add them all together. She got 90s, and you throw that 170 in there. Her average is still golden.
Listen, I know how average works.
So then you'd be good.
But if that 170 came up a little bit, the average at the bottom that you're talking about, toe the line, would go up a little bit more.
But the average is above an 85 collectively. It's a 90 now, I think. So we're good.
That's fine, but it's the
Gucci.
math need to be at
But
least
technically,
78.
For this school, it might be a 90 or 92 for.
Nah, I'm sorry. I agree with George on this one.
I'm
I
like,
agree with George on this
I
one.
can't. I hated math. I took my math
Math
Regents
is the
twice.
easiest subject.
No, it's
How do
not.
you?
It's fucking
Yes, it
confusing.
is.
Guess who didn't teach me?
It is the easiest.
Well,
subject.
you know, sir, had you been here from the get-go, she might have better odds at math.
Listen. Math
Had you been
is
here for
too-
kindergarten math and she was counting fucking green triangles and blue circles,
Listen,
maybe
listen, she does pretty well.
you know what? You know why? Because I was sitting there going, if Susan has 4 apples, and she's like 3, and I'm like 4 apples. And she's like, I don't know, and I'm like, 'cause you're not looking at it. That is why I'm like, the 70 in math is fine because you had to endure me helping you with home. And then
Yeah, that
the
is-
first
you're-
half of the year in kindergarten, I got no patience. The first half of the year in kindergarten, she'd come home with homework and she would sit there and cry the entire time. And I was like, we find an after school program, bro. Fuck this. I'm like, perfect. They do academic enrichment. Excellent. So I'm like, you're
Did
going
you
to after
just
school.
say Asian prison? Oh
We're gonna
my
get
God.
canceled. So I called the parent coordinator at the school and I was like, hey, does the school have like a program that they work with or recommend that they like they use in the school? Because I didn't want her to have to like be picked up and brought anywhere else. It defeated the
Yeah.
purpose because I had gone back to school and I was taking classes at night, working at H&R Block in the daytime. They're like, yeah, we have this program. I called. It was affordable. I paid it with my taxes every year. That's another thing I never asked you for fucking half of. So I was like, yeah, all right, we'll do that. So I'd pay with my taxes for the whole school year, and she'd be Gucci. So I'd pay whatever, and she'd be good. And she'd be there from 3 to 6, and then my dad would pick her up. So they do her homework with her, and they do like some, like, you know, whatever.
I think I remember that because
But
we were about to train when we were
but
talking about
I
that too.
didn't have to fucking do the homework with her, and that was the thing. I was like, I don't like homework. I don't know this new way that they teach math. That's how she was looking at me when I was trying to show her anything. So
I
I
ain't
was
gonna
like,
lie, I did used to feel bad. 'Cause Ava would be in school from like 7:30 in the
But,
morning
so that
till
was-
6 o'clock at
Like,
night,
I
bro.
hated that.
So
That's
I-
like when she's like, "Oh, it'd be nice to get a tune," and I'm like, "No, we're keeping the 1 to 8."
So
I like
I
getting out early.
no, so I because at that point I would get out of H&R Block at 5 and I would take the R train all the way down to Metro Tech,
Mhm.
but I'd be in class. My class was like 6:15 to I think it was like 8:30, and then it was like from 8:45 to 10.
Mhm.
So I was leaving the house just the
Guess
same
who
time
was
she
never
was.
there for bedtime.
No, I have to.
Neither of you.
I'd have to call her. Well, no,
So,
but I tried to pick my classes like that. I was only out. I think it was like 3 nights. He wasn't there for any of the bedtimes, so I still rank up higher for bedtimes. Bedtimes cashed.
Listen, I'm here for bedtimes now.
Bedtimes actually
Alright.
falls asleep.
That's good.
Um,
Listen, I'm the one that got her to sleep without a goddamn light. This
she still keeps the fucking.
not at my house.
No, the TV's on sometimes, but
Because you.
No, because she doesn't mind
Well,
the
TV,
noise.
I don't mind noise.
But
TV is noise,
But
and
that's
I
it.
get
She
that.
doesn't mind
And
the
I get
noise.
that.
Like she can fall asleep
Yeah.
with background
But
noise.
At his house, pitch black.
Yeah, she's
No, so
asleep,
but
yeah.
up here it is too. But I don't. So for me, there is no noise. But when
Okay.
she was little, I had, and I think I said this to you the other day too. I
Yeah,
had a
you said that.
humidifier.
She started with it. She evolved from each noise, and I grew up with those noises.
Yeah.
So I needed noise.
The-
No, the best part was when she would keep the light on because I'd be like, "Oh, turn the light off." No, she needs the light.
No, because
She
she'd
needs
wake
the
up. She'd wake up and then start crying. But if you woke up and you could see and you saw that I was still there and that you were good, it wasn't a problem. Like you'd sit up in the bed and you'd look over, see that I was sitting there or sleeping
That's
there,
the best.
and then you'd go back to sleep. But if you woke up and it was pitch black, you cried for me and I get woken up. And I hate phone calls and I hate being woken up. So those are two things I don't enjoy. If the light's on,
The day that she was out, and I think Anna had just left, so it was just me downstairs when we were still living in Brooklyn, and I was sitting there for like 20 minutes screaming at the top of my lungs for her, and Grandma had come down and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Mommy," and she's like, "It's okay."
but that's why I couldn't go anywhere because she made it fucking miserable.
No.
Because then I get a barrage of phone calls. So when she was with you or your mom, and I was like, "That's your fucking problem now, bro."
Listen, I told him, I said, "Listen, yo, what, yo?"
Yeah, because
what's
he
up?
was like, "Shut up and go to sleep."
I was like, "Yo,"
This was-
I was
I
like,
think
"Yo,
it
what's up with this light, yo?" She's like, "I needed to see it." I was like, "Bro, see what?
And
Your
then we-
eyelids are over your eyes."
And then we evolved from the lamps
Then
to
we
the
were-
LEDs, and I
Yeah.
was like, "I'm tired of these LEDs," and I shut them off. And I'm
Bro,
like,
now bro, this child.
you put the light on, and I'm like, "Can you turn that
It was
off?"
But-
mad funny because I
it
came
took
in.
time.
I came in last night and I didn't get to tell her to go. I didn't get to tell her good night. So I like flicked the light on, man, hard, ripped the blanket off her head, and kissed her on her head and said good night. And then she wakes up. What? Where? Where? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Where? She's like, where? And I'm like, Ava, where? What? You're in
You're
the
like,
bed.
"Where the fuck am I?"
You know what I'm saying? She's like, her face was so. I wish I could have recorded it.
I
And she
show
was
the
like,
same face when I wake her up. I
Where?
set my alarm. To go up at the same time, so
And I-
I listen to see if she's gotten up, and I don't.
never said it.
So but you need to.
Or I said it and I snooze it.
Yeah, so I get up, I look under the door, I don't see the light, and I'm like, "Now I gotta fucking come on. I'll turn the light on," and she's like, "Whoa." I'm like, "We're not rushing." I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't rush.
"Yeah, because you don't have any concept of time. Everything is fine for you." I'm like, "We need
See,
to
I'm
leave the
like,
house by
I'm
6:30."
I get up, I do everything, and
I was
we
gonna
still
say-
walk- and the funny part
No,
is we
if I
still
don't
walk
move
out
the
door
process
6:30.
along, if I don't put the
My-
yogurt or the cereal
my
in the cup
time-
for her, I don't put the water in there.
There's one thing
That you'd have to do all that,
inherent
and
for
we'd
me.
still be waiting,
Our sense of time is like.
warped.
It's like, it's okay. And mom's
But-
like,
No,
It
because
was
because
just
you'll
so-
leave at 6:35, and then the entire morning is fucked because I'm sitting in fucking 25 minutes of traffic. I'm not doing
gonna lie
that.
to you. It was just so funny. You were just like, where? And I'm like, what do you mean where? We're nowhere. You're in your bed.
Yeah, you're in the house, bro.
And
What do
she
you
was
mean?
like, but where? And I'm like, Ava, you're sleeping. Go to sleep. Okay.
I remember looking at the TV and I was like, I wasn't watching
Yeah.
this.
She was like, I wasn't watching this. I was like, you weren't even watching anything. You were
It was
sleeping.
just on in the background.
Yeah, like you were just sleeping, dude. Like, what are you talking about? So I was just like, yo, whatever. Go sleep.
But
Good
that's
night.
night
Love you.
and day from the bullshit that I would deal with when she. Remember the very first summer that I went down there, she still slept with me,
Mhm.
and was trying to teach her to sleep in her own bed, and she would just it was just constant fucking crying, and it was just like those were the instances where I was like, this motherfucker gets to sleep in a bed all by himself in the quiet, and nobody's fucking sweating and laying on him or
Why
touching
just,
him.
Like, put me in a room, close the door, and when I
Well,
stop
see,
crying,
No,
because
because
what
I live
happened
with other
was-
people, so that didn't work.
So what happened was, you had like a big issue of like FOMO.
oh,
So we would put you down, but
And
because
pop
you
right
were
back
so
up.
scared of missing what was gonna, well, that's what we thought it was. That literally, as we put you down,
Up.
literally would turn around, and we would
And
hear
you'd be
your little
looking at us.
feet. We'd open the door,
And you'd be right
and
there.
you're standing like this. You be in our arms, dead sleep. Like your mom,
As soon as
your
I
mom
put you
got you
down-
like this playing Halo, dead sleep.
Put you down, awake.
But in the crib,
Oh, you should roll over. She'd be like,
and the best was when you could stand, like when you finally like got the
You was
power
like a
in your legs
prisoner.
to stand. You were like,
oh no.
hey,
Drop
but
Where
but
you
again,
going?
that was another
Where you going?
that was another issue of living with other people. Is I couldn't let you cry it out because most people the recommendation. No, but
but that's
No,
what we
that's
did. We
different
let
than,
her cry.
but that's
out.
different than like the sleep training would have been like I would have been like you would have cried, but I would have spoke to you
Mhm.
through it. That would have woke up Anna. It would have woke up Grampy and Grandma. I couldn't do that, so I had to give in. So there was like it was another obstacle where I'm like I don't even have a partner to be like, hey, you get up with her this time. I can't. It was all me. So when you were really little or when you were sick, it was all me. So when it came time to like, I'm like, now you come back and you're still not. She's older, so it's like obviously not as bad as when they're tiny, but you're still not picking up your fair share of like parenting. I'm like, I just want to beat you.
Yeah, but it wasn't that long
It was
after I got back.
from 2015 to I met Amanda in 2017, the end of 2017 or the beginning of 2018. No, whenever you turned 8. So you turned 8 in 2000.
I was 7.
No,
Yeah.
You would in no.
7 turning 8, yeah.
Right, so but in 2008 2018 you were 9 because you turned 10 in 2019. So 2017 is when I met Amanda.
Yes.
So it was like 2.5 years. But even when I first met Amanda, we weren't on great terms either because then I started dealing with Amanda pretty much exclusively then to coordinate shit. It really wasn't until like late 2018, beginning of 2019 when I started the new job and whatever, and then like you were more consistent, and I knew that when she was there, she wouldn't come back and be like, I didn't eat because I don't like rice with beans in it. Daddy wouldn't wake up and feed me waffles. And I come home and be like, are you dead ass? I'm like, what the fuck?
Because I'd be like, yo, my dude, you 9, 10, bro. When I was 9, 10, my mom taught me how to use a toaster. And I was making my own joint. Doo-doo. I know how I like it toasted. Put the little
And then she'd
setting
come
on.
home and be like, and then because up until like a few years ago, she would get up very early after her internal clock was just set to wake up.
Yeah.
So she'd get up, no matter how late she stayed up, she'd get up. Then she'd be a crabby pain in the ass. But then she'd come home and be like, oh, Daddy woke up at noon and I was up for 6 hours without him. And I'm like, this man can't go to bed at a normal time and wake up with his fucking. So I'd be like, hey, you think you could wake up a little bit earlier and like make a waffles? And he'd be like, my mom's there. And I'm like, she's seen your mom every weekend since you've been gone. Like, she wants to see you. And you'd be like, and then Amanda started picking that up. So it was like, she was there, but it was like, still, should be you. And then she got a little bit bigger and she was able to say, hey, I want this. And you were like, okay, we'll buy this. But all of that came with age and time. Yeah, and then she became a teenager. But that was part of like what made me so because I'm like I did all these things. I even like I would go out at night and the times my mom would watch her and she'd be there. I'd be like sick as a motherfucker in the morning, but I would still get up. We'd have fucking waffles. I'd give her the iPad. She'd watch Dora or Angelina Ballerina, and I made it work. Yeah, so I'd give her the iPad. I'd give her whatever. She'd go potty. I'd give her cereal, the waffles, whatever, and then we'd go back downstairs, and then I'd get bitched at that. So you're not doing anything with her, and I'm like, I am making sure that she is entertained. Here's the iPad. But like those are the things I'm like, you can do whatever and sleep in, and it doesn't matter. Like everything that I do has to be calculated because there's an impact to how I'm moving around. So like that was.
Well, yeah,
Is that door like it's a turkey?
And honestly, I feel like everybody's gonna say, like sexist or gender, I don't know, like gender role things, but
Gender norming.
but like I'm just saying, like I do think that does go back to like what like Ava said earlier, like it's just That's just
That's
maternal.
fine to be
It's just
done.
maternal.
No, it
The
is, but
mothers are more nurturing, right?
Yeah,
The fathers
like-
are more like tough.
yeah,
love
but if
and
I had, but that's,
being-
but to go back to what Dad said earlier, if he was here and we did a 50-50, you would have to rely on him for those things because you would be with him part of that, and it would have just been something he learned from the beginning because he
And-
was your main caregiver.
And that's what I feel too. Like because I didn't have to worry about that.
You
like,
don't. It
just
went
kinda
away
like,
because you
yeah,
knew it
that-
was cared for. Either
yeah.
I was doing it, or your mom was doing it, or Amanda was
Yeah.
doing it.
So it kind of just slipped away.
It's crazy how, as much as he wasn't here or whatever, I'm still so much more like him than I am.
It's because a lot of it is the genes.
I'm very much more of like I'm very much like, oh, I want to do video games. I like football. I like this.
Yeah, but
I
you didn't like any of
that.
those things till he came back. I didn't have a video game console in my
Yeah, but
house.
could you
I never
imagine
watched
growing
football.
up being that girly, very
Right, but
like-
had you not been exposed to him, I didn't have an Xbox console when you were. I had the
Well, you had the
360.
little dookie one.
No, I had the 360, and that was it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I stopped
The
playing
dookie.
it. I hadn't
Yeah.
played it in a long time. So until Dad was back, I never watched sports heavily like that. So you wouldn't have been exposed to that. Nobody in our house did. Uncle Phil kind of, but not really. No.
Grandma likes football.
Grandma never watched football when we grew up, ever. We didn't even have those channels,
No,
and
she
Grampy
was-
would never
she was-
let her.
I like football. I'm like, do you watch it? She goes, yeah.
No, she never watched. Grampy honked the TV. But until he came back, you didn't touch. You didn't.
You just
you-
like dry snitching on everybody.
He did though, but because he did, but until Dad came back, you didn't pick up a video game controller. It wasn't with me, and for a long time, I didn't have one in my house. It was only played when you were at Dad's house, so it was something you did with him. It was your thing with him. If he didn't come back or he wasn't here, you would never have been exposed to that. I wouldn't have bought that thing. So, it's because you picked it up with him. If it had only been me, then it would have been by proxy just the things that I do. But now you have a balance. Yes, you use Starbucks and Target, but you also like Fortnite and chill. So there's a balance.
It's nice because there's like the really girly side, and I'm like, oh, maybe that would be my sister, and then I'm gonna want to punch her through her face because I hate those kinds of girls. But she also might have a nice balance.
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Yo, Kai gonna be a fighter, bro. She gonna throw some hands, bro. Yo, she got tight yesterday, and she was going off, bro. She was like,
She got no patience.
bro, like you was like, yo, you can't hold that. Get that to me. And then she look at you like, what's up? What's up with you? And I'm like, listen, young one. Relax, young Padawan, because you will get smashed, bro. Like,
Yeah, well, yeah. At that, if that was Ava, I'd been like, I would have just kicked her over. I'm like,
dude,
stop
tell
this
her,
shit.
bro, she's ready to throw hands, bro. Like
You have your hands full.
Yeah. Well, between the both of them, I told both of them yesterday. I said, yeah. I said, hey, between you and your sister, y'all are like the worst part of me and your mother's, yo. Like,
Pretty much just
got
picked up
too
picked
much
up
attitude
all of
and
it, yep.
yeah, and all that. So I
Yep.
tell you, because Kai is cool as you letting her, you let her coast with what she want to do.
She's chilling.
Bruh.
Until you throw a wrench in her plans, and she's
That's
like, whoa.
it, bro. She's ready to go to war, and I think now, like, before she used to like cry, like she used to cry.
She
Cause that-
still cries
But
about
now she-
everything.
With your yelling, bro.
But now
the
she,
ears.
cries, and like she's like,
But she realizes
she's like
it gets.
this. Ugh.
But she realizes it gets an
And it's
attention.
crazy. Yeah,
but that,
it's crazy.
but that, it's part of that age group too.
So,
Each age comes with its
Listen,
own
like
thing.
I said,
Crying, it's like everything.
It's an age, but remember Gianna used to do it too. There was an age where she cried a lot. It just comes with like there's different. Every age has
Why
different
would you
pains.
cry about everything? Like your mother is
well,
out.
no,
You have to
because she's
eat. I don't know why
small.
I'm crying about food.
Well, like I told you, it was her very first time being there without Amanda
mom,
at
yeah.
all. So,
Yep.
and like I said, I think she did good. I think
Yeah,
she really did.
yeah.
She
And the
came
more
up
she
about
does it, the
cool.
more she'll get used to it. But it's all good.
And once again, I'll never stop saying it, but Ava, great. Couldn't ask for more. Couldn't ask for more help. So she was amazing with it.
Hire Ava for all your babysitting needs. But
I
we
don't
are at an
change
hour
diapers,
and
so-
30. Yeah, except for changing diapers. We're at an hour and 38 minutes now.
Yo, these are getting longer and longer.
They
man.
are, but we are dropping every other week, so I feel like it evens out.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you guys for hanging with us.
And we
Next,
we do hope that we answered.
yes, I mean
that
we'll get
feedback.
into it a little bit more,
Yeah.
like with the next phase of like when he was back, and I still just didn't enjoy his presence, but like I tolerated
I
it.
didn't enjoy hers either. So no,
I
I
didn't-
think this is one-sided.
And it's definitely not. He was definitely like I pulled up and he was like, "She's still alive. Great, here she is."
Oh, you're still breathing. Ah,
Perfect.
right.
Like my emoji next to his name used to be the devil face, the
I
angry.
think it still is that.
it's
Oh no, it might have changed because of the
the update, but yeah, that's how it was. If it gives you any idea, but
it used to be the mad face.
yeah, the
That-
mad face.
yeah. Yeah, because it definitely
Yeah, it changed. But
Okay.
yeah, but we appreciate you guys for hanging with us. We love the feedback. We love when you guys, comment on our stuff and send us messages.
Of
We hope you
course.
join us Tuesday for our Twitch streams, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks for episode 10. And we'll see you guys then.
Peace.
Peace.